Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's come into a comfortable, if you're in the chair, seated position with your spine straight, tall. And then if you're on the ground, we're going to come into a crisscross applesauce or another seated position of your choice. As always, maybe adding a block, a pillow, or anything else that under your hips that would add just a little bit of comfort. For changing up how your legs are if crisscross applesauce isn't feeling right in your body today. Wherever we're at, though, we're keeping our spine long. We're relaxing our shoulders. We're letting our hands soften, the muscles relax. Maybe we close the eyes, or maybe we simply allow the eyelids to go heavy, blurring our vision as we start to make our breathing more intentional. Not necessarily changing it in any way, but instead being mindful of the breath. Noticing maybe where the air is coming in at the nose, maybe feeling it through the windpipes or expanding the torso and rib cage. Maybe you follow the breath back out, noticing the temperature of the air. And then with that same attention to awareness, we'll start to notice the sensations throughout the bodies. Maybe there are aches or pains. Maybe there's a tweak or a twinge. Maybe it's a stuffy nose or a rattling cough or something else that's sensationally noticeable in your body today. And then take that awareness to where your body and the surfaces that are supporting you touch, defining that boundary between where your body ends and where the support begins. Today, we're going to talk about the fact that it's okay to make mistakes. Every day, as humans, we often strive for perfection, for more success, more love, more peace, and even more joy. And all that striving, sometimes we make mistakes. We say the wrong thing, and we even take a step in the wrong direction occasionally. And that's okay. We all make mistakes. It's when we don't accept those mistakes that we end up suffering more. But we can accept this very natural part of being human so that when we do make mistakes, we're able to learn from them. So when we do make those mistakes, we own them and we move forward. Let us meet our mistakes with grace and ease. Let us allow our mistakes to make us humble, wise, and aware. So as we breathe here, our natural but intentional breath, maybe choosing to repeat a few lines of mantra after me. They feel authentic to you today. May I meet my mistakes with grace and ease. May I allow my mistakes to teach me And may I allow for them to be what they are, human. Beautiful job. We'll begin to come back into this present moment. We'll take a moment to offer ourselves a little bit of gratitude that we took time out of our busy schedule to meet ourselves here on the mat. Maybe explore our mistakes just a little bit as we move mindfully through our practice today. And as we start the practice today, remember that every stretch, every pose, and every transition is not only an opportunity to learn and to grow from your successes, but also from your mistakes. So trying to choose to treasure each movement, no matter whether it feels positive, negative, confusing, challenging, or anything else, is nothing but a learning moment. We'll take one more deep breath here. And we'll start to wiggle our fingers and our toes. And we're going to flutter our eyes open. We'll start to add a little bit of movement and breathing into our practice. So from our seated position, we're going to come into an embryo pose. An embryo pose is really just a great way to turn internal for a second. So if you're on the floor, we'll come with knees together, feet together, or maybe a block or under the hips if that feels better. And then start to hinge forward, almost like a child's pose. Your forehead can come down to the mat or maybe onto a prop. Allow your hands to come back by your feet, palms face up, and allow for your arms to relax by your sides, shoulders rolling onto the legs or around to the thighs. Now, similarly, if you're in the chair, my suggestion for this would be to bring those knees together just a little bit, hinge it forward. And again, you can keep your hands on your legs. You could reach them back by your hips, letting them rest on your chair, palms face up, or you can let those hands start to dangle down towards the floor. Again, imagining those shoulders peeling over your legs, even if they don't fall over the legs, imagine them just falling into and around the sides of your thighs, knees, and legs. Maybe you curl your chin into your chest. Maybe you close your eyes as you take just a few breaths here, rounding through the spine completely, totally. And then with a slow inhale, we're going to roll up one vertebra at a time, coming up to our straight spine. Great job. We'll come back into a crisscross applesauce, no matter whether we're seated on the chair or on the floor, bringing the right foot in front of the left foot for this time around. We'll bring our hands out towards our knees. We'll start to take some torso circles, allowing our shoulders and elbows to bend deeply, allowing your heart to pull forward and then back as you round around the circle of your hips. And then let's reverse them. Take your circle in the opposite direction. Throughout our practice today, I might have us do things a little awkwardly, a little weirdly, a little whatever. And that's on purpose to try to take us out of our comfort zones just a little bit, maybe give us opportunities to make a few mistakes. And maybe just let ourselves be okay with those mistakes. Alrighty, go ahead and come back to your straight spine, keeping those hands out towards your knees. We're gonna take a seated cat-cow. As we exhale, we'll pull our hands back towards our hips so that our shoulder blades start to squeeze together. We'll pull our heart forward and lift our chin. With your exhale, round the spine back, curl chin to chest, extend the hands to the knees. Inhale, hands to hips. Take it at your own pace, finding that movement through your spine. All right. Beautiful job. Go ahead and come back to a straight spine here. And then let's go ahead and take our legs out wide to a wide-legged seated position. You can have the knees bent, or you can start to press through the heels, straightening the legs long. You're always welcome to have props under the knees for a little added support here if you'd like, or something under your hips. And if you're taking this from the chair position, you can even have your knees bent enough that your feet are flat on the floor, but we're still opening up through the hips, getting that same hip opening position. With our next inhale, let's allow the hands to circle up and overhead. Maybe they even float up and our gaze comes up. Great job. With our next exhale, allow your hands to palms face down as they circle down by your hips. And then let's take our seated wide-legged pose into a forward fold. You're seated on the chair, your hands can rest on your knees, or you could allow them to sink down the legs or onto a prop. And if you're on the floor, your hands can be on the floor, or maybe a block or another prop outstretched in front of you. Allow yourself just a couple of breaths to sink in, opening up gently, noticing the back of the spine, maybe. Great job. Now with our next inhale, walk your hands back towards your hips. We're going to turn at the hips towards the right leg. And with our exhale, we're going to extend along that leg. Each exhale allows you to sink it in and just a little bit deeper, rounding your torso towards your knee. Inhale through center, arms come up. Exhale, take it to the left. Noticing the difference between the sides of your body here. Can your exhales allow you to sink it in just a little bit deeper? Now, sometimes it can feel really nice to hold a pose for a really long time. But sometimes it can offer a different benefit if we come into a more dynamic pose. So we're going to take the same variation in a dynamic way. So inhale, come up through center, arms reach up. Exhale, hinge over the right leg. At your own pace, inhale, come up through center. Exhale, hinge over the left leg. Take this at your own pace, left to right. And if that means you're taking it slow and holding it today, that is fine as well. Let's start to find a little bit of fluid movement, making sure your breath is matching. Inhaling up, exhaling down, maybe holding in between. Great job. Last time on both sides, or finishing up the round if you're taking an extended one. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, bring it down through a prayer. Great job. Let's bring those legs back in. And we're going to come into our crisscross applesauce, but this time left foot is on top of the right, making sure to start to balance things out. Let's inhale, circle arms up and overhead. Maybe look up. Exhale, float, flip the palms, bring it back down to your prayer. Inhale, circle it up. This next time, we're going to drop our hands onto our shoulders, letting the elbows come out towards the side. Now, if this is not feeling comfortable, another option would be to come into a cactus or to bring the hands to your hips and elbows out to the side, rotating the shoulders down. So finding whichever one of these positions feels the best for you. And with our next inhale, I want you to start to spiral at the hips, looking over towards your right. Exhale to come through center, looking over towards your left. And then, like an old school sprinkler, start to pivot left to right. Great job. All righty, let's exhale, come back through center, and we'll release our hands down by our sides. Feel free to take any shoulder rolls or pivots or movements you need. Now we've kind of left our breathing exercise to a little later in the class today because I wanted your body to be a little warmer as we took this breath. So being mindful of noticing those stuffy noses or chest congestion that we spoke about earlier, that may be a reason why you may want to just imagine this breath today versus taking it physically. Another reason is if it makes you feel lightheaded or dizzy at all. So we're going to take a breath of fire today. The breath of fire is a short, forceful, staccato exhale that allows your inhale to be passive on as it comes in. I'll demonstrate it a few times. And after you take a few bursts of the exhale, then you'll take a nice long inhale to reset. And you'll do this about 3 to 5 rounds of breath, as long as it feels comfortable in your body. So if you try it once and it doesn't feel right, again, just imagining it in your mind. There's been a lot of scientific evidence into sports medicine where it's proven that just visualizing an activity has very similar benefits to actually doing the activity itself. So we'll take this breath together as it feels comfortable in our bodies. I'll demonstrate now. No breath is through the nose. I'm sorry, I might have not mentioned that. Short, staccato, exhales, forces the inhales. You're still taking the breath of fire, finish this round. Find your natural breath. Notice the sensations throughout the body, throughout the mind. Maybe it's built up a little heat in the torso. Maybe the abdomen's feeling like it's got a knot in it. Just simply notice what's there. All right, inhale, open the arms up wide to a T. So similar to the breath of fire, we're going to take another short staccato breath as we take this next movement. So we inhale, we're going to cross the legs. As we exhale, we're going to open, moving as fast or as slow and letting your hands alternate which one comes on top and then opening back out to a T. Great job. 1 or 2 more. You got this. Inhale, open to a T. Let it float up. Bring it down through a prayer. Beautiful movement. All right, we've done so good with our upper body. Let's work on that lower body just a little bit more, taking those legs back out wide to our wide-legged position. Now for this first one, we're going to start to take a toe roll, rolling our toes out to in. And you might find that it has more room for mobility if you don't go quite as wide as we do this. So just simply, you don't have to move your hands. I'm just doing it to demonstrate the movement of your hips as you roll the toes from out to in. Great job. All right, go ahead and come back into your straight or your steady, lengthened, wide-legged position, even if that means your knees are bent, that's okay. We're gonna inhale, we're gonna let those arms float up. We're gonna work just a little bit on our core here now. So as we exhale, begin to hinge forward about 45 degrees, keeping your hands overhead. Now, again, if you want more support, bring your hands to your knees and use that as a counterbalance. But for more of a challenge, let the arms alongside the ears. Inhale to bring it back up to a straight spine. Exhale, hinge it forward. Start to take that dynamic pulse, exhaling as you hinge forward and inhaling to come up. Really recruiting those abdominal muscles to lead the movement. Great job. Inhale to bring it up. Our exhale brings our left hand either to the center of the floor or on the floor, either on the floor or on a prop. Or we can bring it all the way over to our right leg, whether we're on the floor or in the chair. We're then going to take that right hand either behind us to the floor or a prop, or maybe lift it up in the air and take it behind us. So it's really up to you how you want to find this torso stretch in your body. Inhale through center. Exhale, right hand comes to center or to the left as we twist towards the left. Left hand either behind you on the floor or lifted up towards the air. Great job. Inhale through center. Arms come up. Exhale, hinge to that 45 degrees. We're going to change it up just a little bit. Circle your arms to airplane arms. Letting the pinkies come in towards each other, palms face down, hands by your hips. Great job from airplane arms. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, start to find a dynamic flow. Inhaling up. Exhaling, airplane arms. Last one. Arms reach up. Exhale, bring it down through a prayer. All righty. For our next flow, we're going to take a sit to stand challenge. I'm going to give you all very options of where we can go with this. So listening to your body and making sure you stick with what feels good for you. If you're on the ground or even in the chair, well, no, actually, if you're on the ground, we're going to come into crisscross applesauce, and you can start with either leg in front. It's up to you. Now, some options to make this more supportive would be to maybe bring some blocks. I like one option of one in each hand on either side. Or another great option is to take the blocks or your hands to the floor outside of the front leg. So whichever side is that front leg. Our goal here is to come from sitting, standing, to a gentle twist, 360, and then to sit again. Now again, if you're on the mat, taking this cross-legged position, we'll inhale, press ourselves up, and then gently uncross our legs as we turn around, recrossing them as we get to the other way, and then we'll sit back down. For more of a challenge, try not using your hands at all, or props, and see how that goes. Again, we're learning as much from our mistakes as we are from our progress. So taking this time to simply begin to explore this sit to stand challenge. Now, if we're taking it from the chair, it's going to be slightly different. If you're super stable and you know that you're super stable, then that cross leg is completely up to you. My suggestion, though, is if feels more stable, start from the legs in mountain pose. Again, you can use your hands to push off, or again, using your core, standing up, turning around without falling over, and then sitting back down. Again, it's up to you. You could take it across and then take a few steps and then sit down and cross it back if that feels better for you. That could be a great option. But making sure to listen to your own mobility, no matter where you're at, holding whatever props, taking as many steps or not. We'll take it one last time. You can allow yourself to be present in this movement. Coming to your seated position. Great job. Maybe laugh a little bit, anything that was a fumble. It's just a learning experience after all. And then let's come on with the standing, getting there in your own time and in your own way. All right, let's come into our mountain pose as we start to stand here, letting your weight really distribute equally between both feet. Let our hands rest by our sides. And then let's inhale, circling arms up and overhead, tall mountain. Today, we're going to take a bind overhead if that feels good for you. So you could grab opposite hands, opposite wrists, opposite elbows, or even take a strap or something that's long and skinny in between the arms, letting you keep them as wide as you'd like. No matter where we're at, we're standing up tall. And then let's go ahead and start to drop our right elbow or right hand down towards the right side of the floor, taking it into a side bend. Inhale through center, drop the left elbow. Now, if you need a little more support, you can drop the left hand to your hip or even to a prop. Great job. Inhale to come back through center. As we exhale, we're going to cactus the arms. And then right when we hit that cactus point, we'll hinge into our forward fold. Letting hands come down to the floor, our prop or our legs, as we keep a generous bend in our knees. Now here you could take a rocking from side to side in a ragdoll. Great job. Come back through center. Release your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, figure 7. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Drop the hips, slow roll as we come all the way up to standing, circling arms, reaching them up. Exhale, bring it down into a prayer, into our mountain pose. Wonderful sun salutation. We'll revisit that one a little bit more throughout our flow. For our next pose, we're going to come into a variation of puppy or dolphin, depending on what feels best for you. If you're taking it using a chair, you might want to bring something to the highest point of your chair, like a blanket. And you're going to drop your elbows right under your shoulders, letting your palms come together, maybe interlacing your hands if that feels good for you. Another option is obviously could come to a piece of furniture or a wall. Same thing, but in this case, you could also leave your hands parallel and flat against the surface. And then finally, maybe coming down onto the floor, if you like floor poses. And same thing, either hands in that triangle or parallel. Now, if you're taking a puppy pose, you're on the floor and you're going to keep your knees on the mat and simply walk your hips back as you drop your forehead towards the mat. If you're taking a dolphin pose, you're lifting your knees up, kind of like a downward dog in the lower body, and letting the top of your head drip in between your arms. And if you're taking this from a standing position using a chair or a wall or anything else, same thing, you're walking your hips back, you're creating a downward dog in your upper and lower body, but allowing your elbows to rest on the prop, maybe even your head rest on the prop. Getting that nice stretch throughout the body. Beautiful job. Last breath in your puppy of choice. Inhale, look up by your hands and start to walk yourself into a forward fold. Coming back up to standing. Beautiful job. All right, from our standing position, we got a love for this wide-legged pose today. So let's go ahead and come back to that wide-legged pose. We'll start with the toes out, the heels in, and as we inhale, we'll open up to a 5-pointed star, taking up as much space as we can. Now let's take the heels in line with the toes, and as we exhale, hands come to hips, and we hinge into a forward fold. Now feel free to keep a bend in your knees and then dropping your hands to the floor or your prop, take it forehead towards the mat. As we press into our hands, we lift up halfway and we're going to take a one-legged squat sequence. So we're going to start to bend into our right knee and then come back through center. And then bend into our left knee. You can keep your hands on your prop. For more of a challenge, you can bring your hands to your heart or finding another prop that feels good. You could also bring the one-legged squat just a little shallow. Or if you want to go really deep all the way down to the heels, you're welcome to do that as well. So take it your own pace, left to right. Great job. All right, one more time on each side or finish up with the round you're on. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. From here, we're going to take a couple of options. We're going to try to bring our heart a little closer to our legs. Some options here, if your hand is on a prop for support, would be to maybe take one hand and slide it through your legs and then bring it back. Alternating hands left to right. If not, holding onto a prop is not part of your practice, you could always bring your hands in between your legs and take a bind, like interlacing your fingers and pointing your pointer fingers, and simply pulse with your pointer fingers. Another option for more support is to bring your hands anywhere under your legs, letting the elbows come out to the sides, and using that movement to pull your heart just a little bit closer and release. Nice, big, beautiful, deep. Always reminding yourself you can bring a bend into your knees, a little or a lot. Already, exhale, pause, releasing hands to their previous location. Inhale, halfway lift, maybe arms come out to a T. Exhale, fold. Start to find a pulse up to halfway lift and then forward fold. So we were just pulsing into a deep forward fold. Now we're pulsing from halfway lift to regular forward fold. Again, hands can lift to a T or they can continue to hold your prop. The next time you're at halfway lift, pause there. Inhale, arms to a T and then to 5-pointed star. All right, we've taken a few pulses, but we have one left here with this move. So coming from this 5-pointed star to halfway lift with a T. So we're getting use of every single of our abdominal muscles, but we're targeting them one at a time. We started with lower, then where we were doing the middle, Now we're up those top abdominals. Let them take this movement for you. Last breath. Inhale the 5-pointed star. Great job. Exhale to step it into mountain. All righty. From mountain, let's step the left foot back. Come up onto the toes, lift the heel like you're standing in a high heel. You're feeling wobbly, widen your stance. For more of a challenge, you can even take it behind and cross it. Wherever you're at though, inhale, circle arms up and overhead. We'll take our bind, either the same one you took last time or maybe a different one. Maybe switching it up if you took the same one, so that the opposite hand is in the front versus the back. Exhale, lean the right elbow towards the ground. Inhale to bring it back through center, step the foot in, step right foot back or cross it. Exhale, drop the left elbow. Inhale through center. Exhale the cactus and then forward fold. Beautiful job. Grab that ragdoll. Opposite hands maybe. Opposite elbows. Find a sway. Beautiful job. Alrighty, if you're taking floor poses, go ahead and bend the knees so deeply that your hands come down to the mat and take it into a tabletop position. If you're taking standing poses, chair poses, wall poses, I'm going to suggest that this next sequence you do from a wall or a piece of furniture that's a little bit more sturdy than just a random chair in the middle of your space. So no matter where we're at, if we're on the wall, we're on the floor, we're going to come back into a puppy pose of our choice. Elbows under the shoulders, hands either parallel or interlacing fingers. If you're at the wall, I'm going to suggest you take a step back, just enough that you can start to put a little bit of weight, like you're almost in a forearm plank here. Not so much weight, but enough. All right, and if you're on the mat, we're actually going to do the same thing. You're going to start to walk the knees back, flipping into either a half plank or, for a little more challenge, tuck those toes, come into a full forearm plank. All righty. We're going to find a nice dynamic movement here as we move between this forearm plank and either our dolphin or puppy pose. So if you are taking dolphin, you'll keep on your toes and you'll walk your hips up like downward dog. And then as you dynamically are ready, drop back into your forearm plank. You're taking it into puppy. Knees stay on the ground. Sink your hips back. Inhale, pull it forward, forearm half plank. Take that at your own pace. Again, if you're taking it from the wall or a steady piece of furniture, you're dropping back for dolphin pose or puppy pose, and then inhaling, drawing the tummy forward, forearm plank. Feel the abdominals turn on. Take this at your pace, fast or slow. Sometimes slow is way more challenging. This is called a dynamic puppy plank. You're doing great. Last one. Exhale to release into your puppy of choice. Great job. Inhale to release. Go ahead and bring your hands under your shoulders, either on the wall or on the floor. If you're on the floor, you're in a tabletop. And then let's go ahead. If you're on the floor, we're going to take a block or prop just a little bit in front of our right hand. If you're using the wall, you're going to use the wall, so you won't need it. All right, we're all gonna take our left hand, we're gonna circle it out to the side and open it way behind us. We're gonna thread the needle here, so we're gonna take that left hand under the body, behind the arm, as we start to drop our left shoulder and ear, either towards the floor or towards the wall that we're using. Now that right hand is gonna stretch up straight, either capturing the wall or capturing the block. We want to press actively into that hand as we take this twist. Now, if you're on the ground, you want to be mindful that your legs stay parallel and one hasn't started walking in towards center. And as always, you can rest your ear or shoulder on a surface, block, wall, or floor. Great job. All right, go ahead and walk that right hand back under your shoulder, elbow lifts up, inhale, open it back up. Exhale, pulse your thread the needle. So just take this a couple times from threading the needle to opening it up. Feel that twist through your torso. Great job. Inhale, both hands under your shoulders. Let's take that on the other side. So if you're on the floor, move your block to the left side. Inhale, open the right arm. Exhale, thread the needle, sink the shoulder and ear. Take that left hand, begin to walk it up the wall or walk it towards the block. We actively press into that left hand, helping assist us in our twist. And let our head and ear, shoulder relax onto any surfaces. Even a bolster could be a nice option here. One more breath here. Exhale, left hand returns under the left shoulder, elbow presses out. Inhale, open it up. Take your dynamic, thread the needle. Pulling the arm through and then opening it back up. Feel the flow. Great job. Inhale to come through center. All righty. If you're on the ground, go ahead and come onto your back. And if you're taking chair poses, we'll come into our seat. Great job. If you're on the chair, maybe bringing a bolster or pillow behind you so your hips are forward and your shoulders are back with a little more comfort here. Let's all bring our right knee in towards our chest and then take a few ankle rolls with that right ankle. And then reverse. All right, we did a lot of hip work today. So let's take circles with that right leg, right knee, really rotating through that entire hip joint. And then reverse it. Go ahead and take that right leg across the body over to the left side. Now, if you're in the chair, you might cross the ankles or the knees, letting the knees fall over to the left side. If you're on the ground, you could stack or stagger. You could take a bind like a leg cross or just simply resting your hands on your knees. Feel free to add blocks or props. Wherever you're at though, your shoulders are pressing against the chair or against the pillow or against the floor. And you can take your gaze in any direction as long as it feels like it's supported throughout the twist. Your arms can open up wide to a cactus or a T or rest down by the sides on your chair. Great job. Let's inhale, come back through center. Bring that left knee in towards the chest with ankle rolls. And then reverse them. Start to take some knee circles. And then reverse them. Great job. Next exhale, that leg comes towards the opposite side, taking it into your twist. Again, you can take a bind, you can cross ankles, you can add any props that you would like, stack or stagger. Making any adjustments here can be exactly the same as the other side, or you might notice this side needs something completely different in choosing to do that. We'll take just a couple more breaths here. Inhale to bring it back through center. If you're seated in the chair, we're going to keep our feet just a little bit more forward from our knees, adding just a little added support here. And if we're on the ground, constructive rest is a great option. So we inhale, we're going to circle our arms up and overhead, finding our bind of the day one last time. Grabbing opposite elbows, hands, wrist, or the strap in between our hands. Our next exhale, we're going to walk our feet over towards the right side of our mat. And if you want to extend the legs long, if you're on the ground, you're welcome to do that. Or keeping your constructive rest is great as well. We're going to then start to drop that right elbow towards the right ankle, taking it into a deep side bend throughout the left side of our body, a reclined banana or C shape. Inhale to bring the torso through center. Begin to slowly walk the feet over to the left side. And then when you're ready, dropping left elbow towards your left ankle. Finding the side bend. Throughout your right hip. Great job. Inhale to bring everything through center. Take a seated or laying 5-pointed star, opening the legs wide as you can, opening the arms overhead as wide as you can, spreading fingers, spreading toes, maybe even opening mouth and eyes. Just really make yourself as big as you possibly can. And then with your exhale, allow yourself to deflate. Bringing it into your final resting pose. And as you start to make adjustments for your final resting pose, feel free to add pillows or blankets, maybe some blocks, maybe some socks, maybe a sweater, or something to cover your eyes. Taking whatever movements so that you can start to relax on command. I'll invite you to close your eyes or maybe to simply soften your gaze. As you settle into this space today, the sanctuary you've created just for yourself, of acceptance, allow your breathing to come back to being intentional, but not changing it in any way, not forcing it or extending it even, just letting it be natural. Once again, checking in with those boundaries between your body and the surfaces that are supporting you. And see if with your next 3 exhales, you can release and soften into those boundaries, blurring them, melting into the surface beneath you. Blend today's practice, the guided imagery moment in nature. This place may be some place you've been to before, or maybe a place that you'll create only in your mind today. But the day is perfect outside. It's the perfect temperature, the perfect weather for your ultimate comfort. And you are heading out for a walk in nature. Now, maybe that nature is on a mountain trail, or maybe it's at an ocean. Maybe you're walking through a meadow of flowers, or maybe it's your favorite urban landscape. But wherever you're taking this walk today, begin to pick up on subtle clues as you look around as to what time of day it is. Maybe noticing the position of the sun or the moon in the sky, or noticing shadows as you begin to survey your landscape that surrounds you. Do you see trees or flowers, buildings, or maybe signs of wildlife? Notice the ground on which you step. What is it made of? What can you notice where you're walking? Maybe there's a sun shining warmly overhead. Or maybe big puffy clouds float through your sky. Maybe a breeze brushes past as it caresses your skin. Or maybe a nice sprinkle of rain, if that so pleases you. But as you stand in nature for this moment, maybe allow yourself to close your eyes, imagining for this moment that you're listening to the distant sounds that you can hear in your space. Continue to breathe intentionally, calmly, naturally, noticing any areas in the body that might feel tense. And then when you're ready, begin to proceed with your stroll, walking at whatever pace is comfortable for you, not too slow, not rushing either. Walking in comfort. Maybe you start to focus your attention on the rhythms of your steps. Left foot, right foot, left, right, left, right, etc. Allowing this rhythm to soothe and relax you. As we continue on our lovely stroll, can you allow yourself to enjoy the subtle movements of your body? You're wearing suitable clothing for the weather, and your footwear is supportive, and your whole body starts to become energized as your muscles move. As you feel your limbs adjusting and swaying, maybe you lean into the footsteps as your focus, maybe even counting each step as it hits the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. As your attention wanders, if your attention wanders, see if you can direct it back to the focus of your footsteps in this beautiful landscape that surrounds you today. With each foot touching the ground, can you imagine the energy, feeling it pulsing as it rises all the way from your feet, up through your legs, into your hips and torso, down the arms, and all the way up to the top of your head. The slight vibration when the foot lands serves to increase your relaxation, leaving you feeling calm and energized. Your legs feel strong, supporting you completely. As you notice the slight shifts that allow you to walk from heel to toe, to heel to toe, shifting from foot to foot, and then back again. Really begin to notice this ever repeating pattern of your footsteps. It's almost as if your feet could be a wheel, rolling and rolling, continuous motion. And you allow this motion to relax you. Can you imagine the rhythm of your feet? It is almost like waves flowing in and out, in and out, ever repeating, listening to the sounds of your footsteps hitting the ground. Maybe this feels like a calming or relaxing rhythm. Simply listening to the repeating beats and noticing all the repeating rhythms today. Our footsteps, our heartbeat, our breathing, the wildlife, and the nature and the sounds that surround us. The smooth cycle of rhythms propels us forward. The path, temperature of the air, colors all around you, sounds, and smells. Allow yourself to enjoy and soften into the surroundings, taking it one step at a time. We'll then take the deepest breath of our day, so far. As we begin to leave our magical walk in nature, knowing that we can call again on these same thoughts anytime, whether we're truly in a walk in nature or just at the grocery store. But when we take that attention to detail, we can make any walk a mindfulness meditation. We'll take the deepest breath of our day so far. We'll start to wiggle fingers and toes, maybe even taking a full body stretch or any other movement you would like. As you start to come up to an upright position in your own time and in your own way, facing me. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great week ahead of you and that you find time to enjoy your mistakes. Thank you so much. Until next time.
Thank you, Lindy.